Good afternoon. I'm Julie Adams. I'm the Executive Director for the Student Senate for California Community Colleges. I am joined today by our Region 9 intern, Nathan, our immediate past president, Cassandra, and our student intern, Abba. Abba is intern for Region 2 and 3 at this point. I'm grateful that you all are here today, and we're going to try to make the time efficient and effective as we move through this. I will begin and then we'll hand off to my co-host. I will say I'm given the my co-hosts will join each other in making the presentations, and if I forget something, they'll help me remember. So please join me, or please jump in, you all, if I forgot something or if you have an additional piece of wisdom. So with that, I'll move to the next slide. So first of all, I want to say congratulations to each and every one of you for being elected as the treasurer for your region. The treasurer is a position that handles the money. You keep accurate records of all the financial transactions for your region. It's not overwhelming, but it's good experience for you to be able to handle a budget and be able to think about the expenditures and be able to report to your region about those expenditures. You'll be required to provide a quarterly budget report to your region. So you'll have to work with your RAD to get an item on that quarter, on the agenda each quarter, so that you can provide that information and making your delegates aware of where the region dollars are spent. Each region is given $5,000, and we'll talk about the budget in detail at the end. You'll oversee the region budget banking account, and there's no real account, so you don't have an actual account in a bank. The SSCCC staff maintains the banking information, and you will have let's just say it's a $5,000 checkbook that you'll begin to reduce during the term. And we want you to spend that $5,000. We want you to spend. We have yet to have a region that spent all $5,000. So this is the year we really want to make sure the treasurers are aware of the expenditures, the funds, and are spending them. So you'll also submit a monthly treasurer report to the regional affairs director each month. If you do not, you'll be deducted. So please be mindful, there is a form for submitting those reports. You'll also serve as the chair of an internal region finance committee. Today, we're going to go over Robert's Rules and Brown Acts to help you be effective as a chair as you begin to hold those finance committee meetings. You'll also attend finance and fundraising committees monthly. That's the statewide committee that's chaired by the vice chair of the vice president of finance. And is Alicia here today?
Yes, she is.
Okay, Alicia, I'm gonna unmute you and ask you to introduce yourself very quickly.
Oh, hello. I wasn't expecting this.
Just to say hello to all your treasurers.
Hello, everyone. I'm the Vice President of Finance for the SSCCC. So I am a computer science student at Southwestern College, which is in Region 10. It's the school closest to the border with Mexico. So it's all the way at the south. And I've been with SSCCC. This is going to be my second year now. Last year, I was a treasurer, the same as you all. And this year, I transitioned into Vice President of Finance. So right now, I was actually composing an email to ask you all to put your availability for a one-on-one meeting. So after this training, we can start meeting one-on-one and get to know each other a little bit more, our goals and all of those things. So have fun with the training.
Thank you, BPF. And be on the watch for that one-on-one. Alicia's been in your spot before, and she'll be able to share her experience with each of you as you begin your tasks. So you're also, if your region determines that they want to hold a fundraising event, you're the person that will be coordinating that fundraising event, and Alicia will be able to assist you. We'll be sharing this, not only the recording, but the PowerPoint. So you'll be able to click on that link and see the list of all your duties and responsibilities as the treasurer of the region. Next slide, please. So this is just a real quick snapshot of all the officers in your region. You have, of course, the Regional Affairs Director, and your Vice Chair, your Legislative Affairs Director, and you as the Treasurer and your Comms Director. You all will work together for the effectiveness of the region, and you will ensure that the region is meeting all of its goals and operating efficiently to represent the students in your region. So please look at the officer responsibilities and understand the role of it each, but know that you are part of a team. Next slide, please.
And I actually like to add on for this slide, for
Yes.
the regional officers slide. So it's really important for you all to understand what each role plays on the region level so that as a treasurer, you're not operating by yourself. You are also operating as a general executive board member in collaboration with these other regional officer roles. So it's really important for you to know when a general member comes up to you with a question, you'll at the very least know who to direct them to. If they have a question about legislative priorities for the region, you'll know to lead them to the legislative affairs director. If they have a question about the newsletter, you'll direct them to the communications officer. Things like that are questions that you as a regional officer should be aware of. So make sure that you review this, but also please also make sure you're in communication with these other regional officers as well. Because of course, it is very important for you to do your roles explicitly said in the treasurer role duties, but remember the importance of serving as a general executive board member and as a region executive as well.
Thank you, Cassandra. Next slide. So here, these are delegate assemblies. So your RAD is responsible for calling the delegate assemblies together each month, beginning in September. Your role is to ensure that you attend those delegate assembly meetings, that you put on the agenda for the budget. In the first meeting in September, you'll be sharing with the region the budget, which we'll go over at the end of this presentation. But you'll be informing the delegates about the budget, how much money you have, and in which categories you can spend the dollars. That is your responsibility to inform the delegates and make sure they're aware. And then you will also use that time to get feedback from the delegates about some of their priorities and where they'd like some funds expended. So those are your responsibilities at the delegate assembly. Next slide, please. You will also attend the executive board meetings. The first executive board meeting should be held in August, and that's where you'll initially speak with the executive board about the budget, gathering from them the goals for the region as you begin to talk about your strategic plan for the region and what you hope to accomplish this year. And you'll be that person who will inform them about the dollars and the possible ways in which you can spend your region budget. You will gather feedback from them, and that will be what you will use to inform the delegates. And that's also a good time for you to solidify your membership as part of the team. Remember, the regions are part of a team. You don't work in a silo as just the treasurer. Next slide, please. And then finally, you will chair the internal region finance committee. You're required to hold these meetings in October. In September, your delegate assembly will take membership or possible committee members to serve on the finance and fundraising committee. And you will hold that finance committee. That should be the finance committee, not finance and fundraising. The finance committee. And you will hold that meeting talking over in detail the funds available for the region and how you will recommend to the delegates to spend those dollars. And that's actually a good time for you to really touch base with those folks that are interested in the budget, how is the money spent, and how you would like to accomplish the goals in the region. Next slide, please. And I will pass this off to Nathan, I believe, who will go through the Brown Act. Is that correct?
So it'd actually be me. So hello everyone. Again, my name is Cassandra, and we'll be talking a little bit about the Brown Act. So first and foremost, the importance of you all knowing the Brown Act is of paramount importance because as we mentioned earlier, you will be chairing the Region Finance Committee. So as chair, it is important for you to be aware of not only the origins and the role of the Brown Act, but also to make sure of certain strategies to use to make sure you're in compliance with it. So a little bit about the history of the Brown Act is it was a state law in 1953 that ensures essentially that the public will have the ability to access these sorts of meetings. Now, our meetings fall under the Brown Act. So that means, in essence, we have to follow the Brown Act for all of our SSCCC meetings. And the Brown Act is something that's incredibly important because for our public, we are elected by our constituency. So we make sure that all of our meetings are accessible to the public, and the Brown Act helps us do so. Next slide. So talking a little bit about Brown Act key requirements, this is just a snapshot of how we ensure we're in compliance with the Brown Act. Now, if you have any questions, I know it's quite a bit of requirements, but SSCCC staff and interns will be playing a key role in making sure that you're in compliance. So don't be too stressed out about whether or not you're in compliance. As long as you follow our steps and procedures, you should be a-okay. But a couple of notes of what the Brown Act requires us to do is to ensure if we have a teleconferencing meeting that all voting members' location is posted on the agenda and that the agenda is posted at least 72 hours in advance. However, and we'll make note of this later in the slides, for this rule, SSCCC has made it 96 business hours, and we'll touch upon that later, but the Brown Act requires at least 72 hours. We also need to make sure that we are ADA compliant, which is the Americans with Disability Act. So what this means as an example is if you are teleconferencing and you live on a second story and you have no elevator, then technically the meeting location you are teleconferencing from is not ADA compliant. So that's just an example of making sure we follow ADA compliance. And yeah, if we could go to the next slide. Now, as I discussed a little bit, we have mentioned this thing called teleconferencing, and we're gonna go a little bit over what teleconferencing is. Next slide. So teleconferencing under Brown Act defines it as a meeting of individuals in different locations connected by electronic means through either audio or video or both. So basically what this language is saying is Zoom. When we have a meeting over Zoom, then that is defined as a teleconferencing meeting. And when I say meeting over Zoom, I mean a meeting over Zoom in which quorum of the members are not in the same location. So for example, right now, we are all Zooming in from our homes in different locations. So if this were to be a Brown Act compliant meeting, then this would technically be considered a teleconferencing meeting. Of course, this is a little different as it's not an official meeting, but for all of your region committee meetings as well as your delegate assemblies, there is a good chance that they will be teleconferencing. So there are a couple of provisions when it comes to being Brown Act compliant as a teleconferencing meeting. So first and foremost is you have to make sure all of the voting members' location is posted on the agenda. Now, I know a lot of people tend to be a little wary about this provision, but this means that your agenda that you're zooming in from is just posted on the agenda. One caveat with this, though, is if you are zooming in from a college campus, you need to ensure that the building and room number you're going to be in is also posted with the address. Because, for example, the reason why these meeting locations are posted is for this to be Brown Act compliant. Technically speaking, throughout the time of the meeting, a member or a member of the public will be able to attend and show up at the meeting location to be able to confer with you as a member, as an elected official. So that's technically the point of the meeting location. So just make sure when you are collecting addresses for your region committee meetings that the building number and the room number is specified in the location if it is not a residence home. And then next, the second provision is agendas posted. So for the agendas, if we go back to the next slide, this slide, yeah. For the agendas posted, again, make sure the addresses are on the agenda when they're posted 72 hours in advance. And you need to make sure the agenda is posted in a publicly accessible area. So what this means is if you put your, you have to post it physically at the location of which it is being, the meeting is happening at. But say you post the agenda inside of your student union, and that's where it's supposed to be. For that, so if the student union gets locked at night, technically that is not publicly accessible because it is locked at night and has certain hours. So what we recommend is you post the agenda on the outside bulletin board or the posting hall that a lot of campuses tend to have when you're having a meeting for Brown Act and making sure it's posted on there. And then you also have to make sure your agenda is posted digitally. Now, the SSCCC help you out with posting it digitally. When you submit your agendas in advance to SSCCC, we send it out to our listserv and also make it available on our website. So that's how we make sure it is compliant with Brown Act when it's posted digitally. And then again, for the accessible to public, just making sure that the locations of which the members are teleconferencing from are ADA compliant. And this isn't something to be too stressed out about because most buildings are ADA compliant. Next slide. And I'll pass it over to Nathan.
Thank you. So right now we're going to talk about AB 2449, and that was adopted in 2022, which allows the SBAs to use teleconferencing without noting the location on the agenda. And that's for just causes or emergency circumstances. And that would also include personal emergencies such as, let's say you're on your way to the location and you receive a flat tire, or a medical emergency, or previously the COVID-19 pandemic. So one of the provisions, well, the three provisions for this one would be the quorum and the location, the audio and visual requirement, whether it is in Zoom or another form, and the form of consecutive meetings. And that would be compliant to AB 2449 for that one. And it's also, I just wanted to add on for, as Cassandra may have mentioned, for the compliance for that. When you're posting the agenda, we do help you out with the listserv and with the online sources for the SSCCC. But previously, a lot of the regions would go on their Instagram and post just like a little notification with a link to their agendas. So that is also to your access, and that's how you can work with the comms officer in that area as well. So I think we'll be going to the next slide. And then we're going to go over meeting agendas. And this is a really important one. No action or discussion shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. And that's really important. So when you're in a meeting, no one can just throw out that you want to talk about X, Y, and Z if it's not on there and previously agreed to. And that just keeps the meeting according to it, and it doesn't throw anyone off. And the agendas must provide a brief general description of each item of business to be transacted or discussed at the meeting. This is to provide transparency and clarity to those, and for those in the meeting to be allowed to understand what is being fully discussed. And it allows members to go back previously, research what they want to discuss on it, and come back to the meeting fully knowledgeable of what will be happening. So that is a good, important topic. So just whatever is on the agenda, just stay on the agenda. Don't deviate from it. And we'll go on to the next slide. Can I get the, oh, thank you. So this is a really good one. So agenda setting. The treasurers, you can work with us, the student interns, to work on setting your agenda template, and as well as walking through a meeting. So as Dr. Adams previously said, that this PowerPoint presentation will be shared with you, and as well as that link to the agenda, you could go into it. One of the more important things that we do is we strongly emphasize you using a when to meet, so you could establish quorum with your delegates, and that way you guys can see what times are effective, as well as the addresses and maintaining quorum. So when you're trying to figure out exactly what day is possible, we can figure out the timing, the location, and or any other issues on that. So when you're gonna work with the student intern, we're always here ready for you to set your agenda, but also to help you get quorum. So if you notice that you are missing quorum and we are in the meeting, we're gonna be working to get the delegates in the meeting if possible, because without quorum, you won't be able to have an effective meeting or take any action on the issues on the agenda. Also, if you need to elect a treasurer or another officer within the region, if you have a current vacancy, you would go into a special election, and that will be held with that. So in order to do that, you need to have your agenda set and the notification set, I believe it's 96 hours in advance for the special election to take place. And then above all, most importantly, is maintaining quorum. And then we'll go to the next slide. And for creating an agenda, you, as the treasurers, must be held in October to receive your stipend. If you do not meet that October meeting, you will not be able to receive a stipend in full, will be deducted. Use the Region Finance Committee template, and the request of the template can be made through your RAD. Create a new Zoom link using the SSCCC treasurer email, the email that you should have access to. And then you have an account with Zoom. So log in there with your Gmail to schedule a meeting using the when to meet notifications. So by that, you could figure out what time works best for you and your delegates to maintain quorum. And then gather the addresses from the committee members from the agenda, print it, post it, both to Deja on the website, and if you like on Instagram with your communications officer, and submit it. And then after filling in all the areas, print your agenda, post it at the college if you are having a physical meeting, and ensure posting is within all Brown Act and ADA requirements. And can I get the next slide, please? And I am going to pass it on to Cassandra.
All right, so this slide just goes a little bit over the different types of agenda items you can have on your agenda. So we really using this as an example, one of the items you can have is called a discussion item. So a discussion item, if you list it on your agenda as discussion only, as evident in this example, the executive roundtable is listed as only a discussion item when the agenda was posted. That means that the board cannot take any action during this agenda item. So that's why it's really important that you really make sure that you classify your items properly. So during this, discussion items can be about, oh, like we want to get an update on what everyone has been doing for the month, so on and so forth. That's the most common type of items used for discussion items. And one note to say is you actually don't require quorum to have a discussion item. So a lot of things that will end up happening is, say you are very close to quorum, but you don't quite have it yet. What we'll see happen a lot is committees will meet and technically start the meeting, but they can't talk about any of the action items. And so they just go on discussion, like, okay, like let's give a quick update to everyone about what we've been doing for the month. And that's what we'll see happen a lot. However, of course, you need to prioritize getting quorum so that majority of your committee is present, but that's just one distinction with discussion items. And then for action items are when the board can take action. So it's important for you to properly classify your items on the agenda so that the public is aware of, okay, like they will be, if you have, and say you want to pass a golf cart funds, you probably will not need to, but using this as an example, if you list an item about golf cart discussion as discussion only, then the public will be, okay, they'll know that you guys cannot and will not be taking action on this item in this meeting. However, if it's listed as action, then they'll be able to know, okay, like this is when they're going to be having this formative conversation and end up taking action on a topic that I am interested in. So it's really important that you make sure your items are classified properly. And of course, you need quorum to take action. So that's just one note to make sure you're aware of, and make sure that you properly classify your items as such. And I do want to clarify a bit more. For quorum, when you have an in-person meeting, quorum needs to be in one location. And what this means is, say you guys have a committee meeting and you guys want it to be in person. So you guys are meeting at Southwestern College, for example. For quorum to be established, it would need to be in one central location so that you don't have to worry about getting everyone's meeting location. So that's one thing to be very, very clear about when you're establishing quorum. But most of the time, a lot of region meetings for the internal committees tend to be virtual, since a lot of regions are very large. That's just one note to have about quorum and Brown Act. You go to the next slide. And then for this, I'll pass it off over to Dr. Adams.
Thank you. So let me get to the drive. So you're responsible for saving your documents, and not all your documents, but your agendas, your minutes, any type of supplemental materials to your drive. So I'm going to take you really quick. So if I can stop sharing, please. So here is what we call the master drive, and the master drive has the archives of much of the SSCCC. And you have access to the 2024 drive. And if you go into, and we'll get you these links so that you know where to find the master drive. And I highly suggest that you star it so that you know where it is and you don't have to go searching for it. So you'll go to the master drive and you'll go to 2024-25 because that's the term that you're in. And then you will find, no, you won't go there. You'll go to the regions, the Student Senate Regions drive. And you'll click on that. So, and then you'll look for your region. And your region, whatever region it is, and I will go select region 6. Part of your function as a treasurer, and actually it's the function of every single regional officer, is to save the documents to ensure institutional memory. So we need agendas, minutes, supplemental materials. And if you have flyers and other information, just that historical context, so we know a couple years from now that what the region did, what it tried to do. Sometimes some things you do is not always successful. But then you go into region, you'll go to your year, which let's just pretend you're region 6, go to 24-25. And in your region, you find a structure. And in the structure, there are 7 folders. We set up the structure, so please do not try to remove any of these file structures. All regions are the same. So you have your accountability and stipend reports, which are handled by your vice chair. You have your delegate assembly meetings, which are handled by your RAD. Executive board meetings, which are handled by the RAD. External committees and task force. Internal committees, newsletters, and reports. You'll go into, for your own agendas and committees, you'll go into internal committees. And while this is empty, you'll create a folder that says Finance Committee folder. And in that folder, you'll save your agendas, minutes to the meetings, and each month. And what we try to do is go back and check, because you also link this location, this folder location, to your actual agenda. So it's that easy. That's easy. One thing I do want to show you is a lot of the forms and reports are also under the Google Drive. If you're in your drive or in anywhere on the master drive and you go into new, you can actually go in and find a repository of templates. So you go into templates here, and you'll see under here, you'll see all of the templates available to you. So you have agenda items, you have a region template, you have your reports that you would fill out and complete. There's a lot of different types of forms that you can fill out. There's also other forms that you can go look at surveys and other pieces. I suggest you just go and explore. That's all I have for the Google Drive, unless somebody else has something they'd like to add.
Just want to add on a little bit about the Google Drive and emphasize that you really should not be messing with the structure of deleting folders. Like Dr. Adams said, all of the structures for the regions are the same. But if you do have any suggestions for any ways that the structure should be altered, feel free to reach out to staff, and then we could talk about it and have that conversation. But until then, please refrain from messing with the structure of it and make sure to maximize the usage of the Google Drive, because the Google Drive is actually public. So this is one way that we ensure the public is aware of what the regions are doing. So just again, make sure you don't have any edits to it. But if you have any suggestions, we really welcome that conversation.
Yeah, and I thank you for that, Cassandra. And I also like to say, because it is available to the public, it's important for you to save your files here and not on your own treasurer email, but in the master drive. Just because when you create it, it'll automatically be saved to your drive. please move it to the master drive, so it's there and available to the public. With that, I'll stop sharing and Deja, if you can just share back the slide. I will share back. Okay, hold on, let me just do that real quick. Apologies for the delay. We'll go back to this final piece and I'll share my. There we go. This is the next slide. I'm not sure who's taking this. Posting of the agenda.
That will be me. So with posting the agenda, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, so Brown Act requires it to be posted 72 hours in advance. However, SSCCC, from our own standard and operations, we make it more strict by having it submitted no later than 96 business hours prior to the meeting. So we put an example here. If say you have a meeting on Tuesday at 10 a.m., you have to make sure your agenda is posted by Friday 10 a.m. So one thing to note is the 96 business hours. If you submit your agendas on the weekend, then that will not count towards the 96 hours because staff does not work on weekends. So please make sure to keep note of that. And we want to make sure that we respect staff's time. So say you post your agenda super late by the teeth of your skin of your teeth, then we really want to avoid the frantic texting and emailing the staff to ask them to last minute post it on the agenda, post it and have it publicly available because we want to make sure that we respect their time. But with posting your agenda, I personally like my rule of thumb was to make sure it was posted at least a week in advance because one, I'm pretty bad. Like I personally do not feel it is good for the public to be aware of at the latest like possible about a meeting. So with the 96 business hours, we want to make sure that that is properly submitted to staff. And not only that, but if you're doing a teleconferencing meeting, that the addresses are all up in there when you send it to staff. So what you send to staff is the final agenda posted. And then with that, I'll be passing it off over to Abba, our student intern, for Robert's Rules.
Awesome. Thank you, Cassandra. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about Robert's Rules, and you can go to the next slide, Dr. Adams. So I know that not everybody is able to speak right now just because of the presentation. So I would just like you guys to kind of like sit and think about like what you think a chair does, whether you're in an SBA meeting on your campus, or if you've even joined some SSCCC meetings, or if you're like, I don't know what a chair is, then we'll get into that as well. But yeah, just like think about some characteristics of what a chair does. All right, we can go to the next slide. So so chairing your meeting, your job is to ensure that debate does remain respectful and that everyone receives the opportunity to speak because it is their right, and you want to encourage debate and allow for the majority to prevail. As the chair, you should always remain impartial. If you have been in SBA meetings, that's definitely pushed quite a bit. And this means that never participating in debate between members of your meeting or dictating the direction of conversation. Also, when it comes to voting, normally the chair does not vote because you want to remain impartial unless there is a tie. You want to consider establishing community agreements as well. The SSCCC does have community agreements within our executive board, and they're just a really great way to remain respectful of everybody and kind of understand the agreements within that meeting. And you're also in charge, so rule fairly and be strong. Being a chair within a meeting is really important because you do have the opportunity to ensure that the meeting does run smooth. So definitely use that to your discretion. Next slide. So we have the types of motions. There's main motions, and these are the most common motions, and they introduce business. We'll go into some examples later, and then there's secondary and subsidiary motions. So you usually refer the motion to the motion on the table. And then privileged motions, you don't, which doesn't relate to the pending motion, but are dealt with immediately. And then we have incidental motions, so change the way a motion is being handled. And then so debate and decorum. So you want to confine remarks to the pending motion. Definitely refrain from attacking a member's motives. As we talked about, community agreements are incredibly important within these meetings because you want to be as respectful as possible. Addressing all remarks through the chair is also a great way to ensure that you aren't attacking a member's motives and being direct to that specific member. You want to also avoid using members' names. And then refrain from disruption or negativity. And then we have keeping it germane. So the debate and amendments need to relate to the pending topic. The chair and assembly must ensure speakers do stay on track. A chair can rule that comments are out of order, and definitely refrain from filibustering or introducing a new topic through the amendment. These are incredibly important to ensure that the meeting does stay on topic and is going incredibly smooth. If we didn't have this sort of like order, we would be going on for a really, really long time. I'm sure we've even had meetings that, like weren't actually ordered and they went way longer than expected because there wasn't these sort of rules put in place. So that's why these are incredibly important. Next slide. And so we have steps to handle a motion. So step 1, the motion's moved. Step 2, the motion is seconded. And then if there's no second, then the motion dies there. But then step 3, the chair restates the motion. However, the chair restates the motion, it's how it's going to be handled. So ensure that it's correct. And if it isn't, ensure that you let the chair know. Step 4, the motion's debated. Step 5, the motion is put to vote by a chair. So you repeat the question and what each vote would mean, and make sure that the motion is stated correctly. And then lastly, step 6, the motion result is announced by the chair. Parliamentary points. So we have point of order. So these points are made to challenge the chair. So it's a ruling, decision, or procedure. So an example of this is chair, point of order, the motion was restated incorrectly. So as we talked about before in steps to handling the motion, if the motion is not correct, please make sure to do a point of order and let the chair know. And then we have point of information. So it's used to seek information about an item. An example of this is chair, point of information. I would like to know if Pizza Planet was contacted about a school discount rate or if its budget is based off of the original price. So when you're talking about action items, a point of information would be very beneficial in this case. We have point of privilege. So requesting your rights not to be violated, a larger font, or requesting materials. Chair, point of personal privilege. Could I receive the handout given to assembly? I did not receive it. All right, next slide. And then so this is sort of like a practice and kind of like you can see how it goes, but it would be your ASB will review and adopt a budget of $5,000 for the Spring General Assembly in LA. You would say, I move to adopt a budget of $5,000 for the Spring GA. And then if someone wanted to amend it, they'd say, I move to amend by striking $5,000 and replacing it with $5,000. But there is a mistake in this because you are not able to, as we learned in Brown Act, when we do announce a specific number within an action item, you cannot go up, but you can go down. And then, so that brings us into our amendments. So we have amend by adding, amend by striking, or amend by striking and adding. We have refer. So if you don't have enough information or you want preparation work to be done, so you can send it to a standing or special committee. And then we have postpone. So let's send this item to another spot on the agenda upon arrival of something or to another meeting. So amending could be amending the particular number on a bill. So, in our past example, if you wanted to do $4,500 instead of $5,000, then that's a possible amendment that you can make. If you want to refer something, it may be something that has to do with civic engagement and you have a civic engagement committee. So you want to refer it to that committee so that they can give you more information. For postpone, if there's something that you may not like have enough information on, let's say you want to sponsor computers for your new student body association, and you want to postpone that so you can get some sort of number for how much it'll cost, that's a really good way to use that usage. So yeah. And I will give it back to Dr. Adams.
Thank you, Ava. Great information. So now everybody knows about, well, you had a brief overview. I'm not going to say you're experts yet, but you will be. You've heard about Brown Act, Roberts rules, your responsibilities. I'm going to go in and cover the budget. So this is the standard region budget template. Now, all of you will begin the year with an approved budget. This was approved last year by the Finance Committee, and this is what you'll start the year at. So your first meeting, as I mentioned before, is in September. And in September, you're going to present this budget. And when you present this budget, your region will go through and take a look at it and see, does it fit the needs? Well, let me back up. You'll meet with your region, your executive board first, and you will develop an action plan for the year, establishing goals. And those goals, you'll have a conversation with about how does the budget implement the goals of the region? How will you use your funds to accomplish those goals? And so as you look at this budget, if you find that you need to move some category, the funds around in the categories, you have the freedom to do that. For example, say that you believe the $100 in marketing, you're not really going to use, but you'd like to put more towards maybe training or more towards transportation. The region can make the determination that you move that $100 from marketing to transportation. Now, your executive board can make that recommendation to the delegate assembly, and the delegate assembly would make the approval. Once you make that approval, then that's your new adopted budget. So you can make some adjustments to this budget. But let's stick with this budget for right now. So let me go through it. So you receive $5,000. Now, 2 years ago, a resolution was passed that says if you get within $1,000 of this $5,000, you spend it down to $1,000, you can ask for an additional $5,000. So that should be incentive enough for you to spend your money in your budget, in your region, to accomplish the goals. That should be incentive. You'll get $10,000. The costs associated in here, for example, conference attendance, that is registration, per diem, and transportation for region officers, not including RAD and LAD, but your treasurer, yourself, comms, and your vice chair to attend our events, for example, GA or Advocacy Academy. So you should use those funds to fund them. You can also use those funds to offer scholarships for the general student population or even your delegates to attend the events. It just depends on how you want to use the conference attendance fees. Regional events, you should use this $1,000 to host regional events. Say you decide you want to hold a delegate assembly in person, which we highly suggest. Then these dollars would go towards holding that regional event. Or you could put that $1,000 into holding a summit. Each quarter, the region should be holding a summit, generally around October and March, but that's when you should hold a region event. That $1,000 can be used to get some of your delegates to the region event. It can be used for food, or you could actually use the monies for supplies and such. So those are how you can use those things. Development and training, $500, development and training. You could get a speaker to come in and pay that speaker to give a presentation or to provide some training to your region. Transportation could be used for some of your delegates to get to the regional meeting or to the regional event, or get some of your region officers to your regional events. We do have additional funds for the RAD and LAD to attend Compass visits. So we cover their expenses, but maybe the other regional officers, you want to cover those expenses. And marketing funds that could be used for stickers or anything else that you would use to promote the region, that $100. So that's the $5,000. If you have questions, write them down so that we can go over those. So how do you actually request the funds? Catering coordination. So if you're gonna plan for food at an event, then you would find the food you wanna have, contact the business, talk to them about possibly, let's say you wanna order, pizzas from an event, let's say Domino's or someplace like that, that you can call them. They will allow you to order the pizza, and then our staff, Deja, can call and pay for that with our credit card. So you would not have any money out of pocket. We've had regions go and order breakfast from one location and then lunch from another, and we've gone in and paid for both events. So you don't have any money out of pocket. Supplies, you could actually order the supplies or go on Amazon and get the links and share the links with us. And then we would order it, and there you would have no out-of-pocket funds. But if you go and buy them on your own, you can also seek reimbursement from the regions. Gather travel reimbursement forms. We would like the treasurers, once you the RAD will seek invitations for people who want to use funds from the delegates and from the regional officers. Then once the folks travel, you will collect the travel reimbursement forms from them and submit them on behalf of the region so that we can process them. And then tracking funds in the budget, you'll be responsible for, as you spend down this $5,000, you're going to report to the delegate assembly and your executive board how the money was spent, how much money was spent, and how much you have left in your budget. Remember, you do a quarterly budget report. Quarterly would be October, let me see, the quarters are July, August, September, that's your first quarter, so you would report out in October. Your next quarter is October, November, December, so you would report out in January. Your next quarter is January, February, March, so you report out in April and then again in June. So that's your quarterly report 4 times a year. And then requesting additional funds, your RAD would request, no, you as a treasurer would request additional funds of staff and report to us on how your budget looks. And we'll go through and process that request. Or your RAD can request if you like, but I suggest you request with your RAD understanding. And if that's the case, then you can also, your VP F can also request funds for your region. And with that, I think that might be Cassandra wanted to add something?
Yeah, so I do want to add, before you spend these funds and use the budget, though, you should be having a conversation in right now your executive board before you spend the funds. So if you want to buy pizza and use a specific line item in the budget, before you spend the funds, you should be having at least a discussion, and that discussion should be noted in the minutes. So your communications officer, when taking minutes, must at the very least put Region 7 Executive Board discuss the usage of line item, whatever name, for the buying of pizzas for our August delegate assembly. So that's what should be noted in the minutes, and the communications officers will be made aware of this as well. But just make sure that before you spend any funds from the budget, the executive board and in their minutes have a discussion about it in executive board meetings, and the minutes are reflecting that at the very least. And this would also be a great chance for you to more utilize your region finance committee as well, talking about possible expenditures that could be taken through the budget, how to maximize the budget because like Dr. Adams mentioned, when you reach spend within that, like you have $1,000 left or something in your current $5,000 budget, you will have that reserve fund of $5,000. So kind of talking about maximizing your $5,000 budget and making sure you're really using those funds for the region. So I really suggest you all be creative because right now with finances, you all are setting the precedent with how to use funds and using it for region events properly and ethically. So that's just a note there.
Thank you, Cassandra. That was critical information. I appreciate that. Yes, we will ask to have some sort of documentation. What we don't want is one person to make recommendation. No one person make decisions about how the region money is spent without input from the rest of the regional officers and or the delegate assembly. So thank you. That was very critical information. So at this time, I am going to stop sharing and we are going to open the forum. We've made real progress through this. I know it might have felt that we were a bit rushed, but there's a lot of information to make sure that you are informed as you begin your position. So with that, I will open up the ability for the folks to ask questions. So if you want to just raise your hand and we'll start, and I'll ask you to unmute. Any hands? I know there has to be hands.
I could start just to get the ball rolling.
Perfect. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, so I was curious when it came to Brown Act. So if you don't have your agenda posted outside of a room that doesn't lock at night, then it's so let me restate that. If the room that you're holding the meeting in locks at night, it's not Brown Act compliant. Was that correct?
No, so if the agenda is posted in a building that locks at night, so say like your student union and stuff, so if the meeting location itself locks at night, that's perfectly fine. The meeting location itself being locked is not a violation of ADA. For ADA compliance, it's more specific to accessibility and one's ability if they have some sort of disability or impediment that does not allow them to utilize the conventional facilities like stairs, then that's typically what it's calling for. But if the agenda is posted in a locked building, it's not ADA, it's not in violation of ADA, it's in violation of Brown Act. So it just needs to be posted like outside on like a bulletin board that's accessible at all times.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Thanks for beginning, Nick. Nick is our Region 1 student intern, so thank you for that. And so we do have a question from Region 8. Rust Treasurer, does student interns attend all meetings, internal and executive board? And who takes our internal finance? And I think that's supposed to be minutes. Who takes our internal finance minutes? And does each region have a reserve that wasn't used from previous years? So I'll take the last one, and if somebody else wants to take the other two. So does each region have a reserve that wasn't used from previous years? No, the answer is no. So if your region did not expend its funds, then you do not have a reserve. Money is not carried forward. It is expended in each year or it goes back. And so the second part of the question is, does student interns attend all meetings, internal and executive board? One of my interns want to answer that?
I can do that. Yes, we do. We attend on the basis of clarification if you have questions or any support that staff can give. We are there to support you in any way that we can and to just ensure that the meeting is running properly. We may remind the chair of Brown Act compliance from time to time, but we're just there to be as a support for you in your meetings.
So I will just add one qualifier that our student interns are one position, and some they also are go to school. They're also students, and so if sometimes their schedule does not permit them to attend each and every meeting, but they will do their best to attend, when possible. And then who takes the internal finance committee meeting minutes?
Yeah, so for the internal, I'm assuming on, I'll use it for both the region and executive, state level. For the state level, the region finance and fundraising committee, the vice chair is elected by the committee, so, and the vice chair will be taking the minutes on the statewide level. For the region level, you would typically elect a vice chair for your own region as well, and making sure that the vice chair is taking minutes as well. So that's a great question.
Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Region 8 Treasurer. Vincent, Treasurer 7, I will unmute you. Where are you? Oh, here you are. Go ahead and ask your question, Vincent.
Yes, one question I do want to ask regarding of the delegate, the delegate person. If you have planned a meeting and only one delegate has showed up, what is the SSCCC guidelines on that? And what should the chair of the finance committee do if one delegate shows up from your region? That's the issue I had last year. So what is the procedure on that? Anybody can answer, including you, Dr. Adams.
Thank you, Vincent. Would one of my interns like to answer that, or my past president?
I can
Go
answer that question. So if I understand the question correctly, it's a question of quorum and what to do if only one delegate or student shows up to your region finance committee. Is that correct? Okay, so if that's the case, then depending on the amount of students who are officially assigned to your committee, then that will be different. So say you only have one delegate assigned to your committee, then technically that would be quorum, but that shouldn't be the case because there should be multiple delegates and students assigned to committees. If you only have one delegate showing up and say you have 5 delegates assigned to your committee, then you would not have quorum. So if that's the case, then you would simply thank that one person who showed up for showing up and coordinate with the other committee members who did not show up, ask what happened, and then coordinate and choose the best time for everyone's schedule for them to show up to your committee meeting. Does that help? Awesome.
Thank you. And then Jewel, Treasurer 1, I will unmute you. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Barely.
Oh no, okay.
Speak up a little bit.
Yes, is this better?
Yes, that's better.
I know you went into it a bit, but could you explain how the Brown Act ensures public access to meetings of public agencies? Like specifically, the requirements for open meetings, how public notice is provided, opportunities for public attendance and comments, and any provisions for closed sessions that might affect transparency and all that. Did that make sense?
Yes, as it relates to a treasurer job, which is this training.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody want to answer that?
I can try to answer a little bit of it. Regarding accessibility, you want to make sure that the place that you're meeting in is accessible. So if it's upstairs, ensuring that there is a ramp and then also an elevator in order for anybody to be able to get in. If the elevator is broken, then you'll have to meet elsewhere, and you can. That's getting into something else, but you just want to make sure that it is accessible, like physically as well. And regarding closed sessions are honestly pretty rare, especially within like your treasurer meetings. You most likely will not have a closed session, but closed sessions are for articles of removal, and I believe other aspects, but treasurers definitely won't get into that. And then regarding the posting, as Cassandra had said, you just want to make sure that where you're posting is accessible for everybody to see. That way they know what building it's in and things like that. And then also they'll also be posted to our website as well in the calendar.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
The only clarification I would have is that closed session is for legal, like if the SSCCC was being sued. Or for employee actions. And the SSCCC has only one employee, that's me. So closed session would be any actions related to the employee. You will not have a closed session. It would be illegal for you to have a closed session. One, you wouldn't ever be sued as a region. And two, you don't have any employees.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Adams. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Other questions from my treasurers? Region 4, you look like you want to ask a question. I saw you feverishly taking notes. Oh, I have to unmute you, sorry. Region 4, there you go.
Well, I can try to figure out a question. First, thank you, Dr. Adams, for this training. I felt it was very informational. My question would be for marketing, would creating like t-shirts for the region be a part of marketing?
Yes, and I've actually had, I had one region, maybe about 4 years ago, that bought t-shirts for the region. In celebration and marketing. That'd be a good tool, especially if you're gonna go and meet on campuses and meet with students. You know, ask me about Region 4 or something like that. So yes, you can use that money for t-shirts. Good
Thank you,
question.
Dr. Adams.
You're welcome. Others have questions? Y'all, you have 20 minutes. I know you're gonna come out and you're gonna be experts, right? Well, I know also VPF is going to have one-on-one conversations with you. So she has served in the seat before, so you can ask her questions. I know that you'll be having your first region fundraising and finance committee meeting in September. You should have that. So I know you'll have that opportunity to get to know and actually get more training if necessary. And also maybe learn during that meeting about fundraising, what you can and cannot do in fundraising as a treasurer and as the region, in case you are considering fundraising. And then don't forget, you can also use some of your funds to have a scholarship so that you can also give scholarships for conference attendance through your region for your general student population. So if there are no other questions, wait a minute, I have another question from Region 8. Thank you, Region 8. At a wide issue, I'm well aware of the 76.5 billion deficits. Can regions help out the state, or is the fund only used for region officers? That's actually a very good question. So your region dollars are really to be spent within the region. So your funds are not necessarily to be used on region officers, but in the region to promote the goals that the region establishes in the beginning of the year. So you have some restrictions to use SSCCC dollars, which have been granted to the regions only for use within the region. And it's such a small amount, you want to make sure that you're really pushing it towards your goals. Great question. Thank you for that. Another question, Region 4. Go ahead and unmute.
Thank you, Dr. Adams. My question is, what is one of the most rewarding things about being a treasurer in our regions?
Well, let's see. VPF, you're been a treasurer. Can you share any things of being rewarded as being a treasurer?
Yay, I can be unmuted. I think it really depends on how you see it. If you see it as just like as an officer overall in the SSCCC, it's being able to go to these events where you can connect to people that are in very different colleges and areas to you. And then when you compare those experiences, you can really bring back some meaningful things that you can apply to it, or just brainstorm, or if you come across an issue, just that an idea exchange can be really nice. But that's really like for all officers. I guess for treasurers, I don't know, that's a good question. Because it is like a little bit lighter than other positions. I guess if you were to make use of your regional committee well enough, being able to help the region come together, organize like some kind of event or something where you can bring that experience of like exchanging ideas, but instead of at a big conference, you're doing it within your region and you're getting people together. Like if you can get people to go to those meetings in person and you're the one that organized it, whether with your committee or with other officers, just like standing there and seeing other people interact, that can be rewarding too in its own way.
Yeah, and I'd also like to add on, so everything Alicia said is very spot on, very correct with that. And I think another way to kind of maybe maximize the impact that you may feel as a treasurer is really keeping in mind like the access that you have to the budget and thinking about how to best support the region through the usage of the budget. I think that's your guys' biggest tool as treasurers. So one example of like feeling that impact is, oh, maybe like Dr. Adams mentioned, like maybe establishing a scholarship, so scholarship funds with the budget if you know you have leftover. I think another thing is subsidizing conference fees for not only your regional officers, but for any general members who are interested in going. I think that's been something that was really interesting. Like I know one of the regions last year, they actually released an application to sponsor one general member through the usage of their budget to go to General Assembly. And that member was able to go and actually, wait, I think that member is now a region treasurer and is in this call from Region 6. So that's just an example of really making sure that you utilize the budget to make sure that you are really, like, how can I have students have better and more equitable access? Because we all know that funds is a huge a huge obstacle for students. So keeping that in mind would be a way to really feel like you're making an impact on the region.
Yeah, and I'll just add on to both VPF and Cassandra's comments that, and I think that VPF hinted at this. Out of all the regional positions, the treasurer is the one that feels as if you're not going to have that large a role in the region. But you can, because you get to help the region identify where you can put resources to in the action plan that the region selects. So, if your goal is student engagement, what can you use the funds for to engage more students, right? That's your role. Your role as region officers is to be on the ground engaging students. It's not, it's the purpose. It's the being at the region, meet delegate assemblies, and in person is the best way to do that. So you get to take the opportunity to be part of that engagement, and you're the person with the pocket, right? You're the one that can come up with creative and innovative ideas to spend those resources to engage more students in the region. And so you can help to empower the rest of the region in doing that, if you can be innovative and creative with how you do that. So that's the first one. The other part of it is you're part of a team. Some treasurers think that, you have to have this big role in order to make a difference in the region, but you don't. You're a region officer, you're part of the team, you can help energize, activate, and recruit students to be part of the region or to do the work. So taking on and being more proactive in your position, doing your job, but expanding and helping the other regions with their responsibilities. Let's say you want to contribute to the newsletter, something about something that you have a passion. You contribute to the newsletter, you contribute to the engagement activities, you contribute to activation. Yes, you handle the money, but that's not your only job. You have a very important role. You're an officer in the region and you have a critical role in engaging students and participating in the region. So understand that and don't be reduced that you don't have as much work as everybody else. Take joy in it and use your time and effort to engage more. So if there are no other questions, we will, did I see a hand come up? Amelia, did you want to have a question? Okay, Nick, I'm gonna come to you, but I'm gonna go first to, we have a Region 8 question here, another one. Can treasurers, and thank you for these questions, they're very, very good and give us an opportunity to share more. Can treasurers with region fundraise and have more than $5,000, or is the max 5,000? To answer that part, no, the max is not 5,000, and you can fundraise. If you have a goal and you have something to move, don't fundraise just to fundraise, but fundraise for a goal and a purpose. How can region officers best practices to help our delegates use their funding? Let me see what this says. I think that's create best practices to help delegates use their funding to better both organizations. Well, that's a tricky question because you don't want to get into the business of telling SBAs how to manage their funding. What you can do is set an example for the SBAs on setting goals and applying funds towards those goals. So you really can just set an example and help the SBAs to see if they don't already have an effective process. So Nick, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, so I was just trying to understand the like what we mean by giving scholarships for to bring people to attend Advocacy Academy and General Assembly. I believe last year in my SBA, we had a little bit more money than another school in our region, and we were considering sponsoring someone from their school to come to Advocacy Academy, I believe. Is that what we would use the budget for? Is like maybe find a school that doesn't have a big budget or they don't have a big enough budget to bring any students along, and then we would use the budget to include them? Or how exactly does that work?
So what I would suggest is what Region 6 did is they created a process that made it fair so anybody could submit a scholarship request. Then they created a committee that reviewed the scholarship request, and then they issued it. What you don't want is people to handpick other people to go to the event at the exclusion of other colleges. So first you would create a process of sharing with your region that this is, and I believe they posted it on their social media, Cassandra could correct me, but posted on their social media the opportunity to seek a scholarship to attend Advocacy Academy, not Advocacy Academy, I think it was GA, to attend GA. They vetted them through the committee and then made a selection. That's what you want to do. But yes, you can use your funds from your, let's say, conference attendance to send delegates who may not have money to go, which should be your first priority. Which is your first priority should be your region officers. Your second priority should be your delegates, and then open it up to the general public. So you should, if delegates don't have the funds, you want them out there because that's where you hold elections or you have regional meetings. And so you want them to be able to go there. So, and then open it up to the general public. But yes, you should use the money. Don't leave money on the table, as I'm sure our VPF would say, and I will recognize you. Alicia, hold on, let me help you unmute. Okay, go ahead. I don't know if you have another comment or do you have a question?
I think the comments addressing the questions for the fundraising one, something to keep in mind is fundraise money, that is money that will carry over from year to year. So then like the 5,000, if you don't spend it, then next year it just defaults back to 5 or 5,000, and then you can go back to the 10,000 and stuff. But if you fundraise like say 200, 700 and stuff, that money does carry over because you did make the effort to fundraise it yourself. So if you wanted to like pad it with extra money, you could. Of course, evaluating it first, like do you need to, do you want to before you do the fundraising, but that money carries over. And then the second part about like helping SBAs with funds, I agree with the part of not like mandating or telling people what to do, because you don't always know how it works at different schools versus yours. You can't really assume or oversee that stuff. Obviously people will have been tried their best, but something you could suggest is take a look at if that like school with a very small budget is making use of their student representation fee like card, because like the SRF fee, that's like the $2 fee that every student pays at the community colleges. They can opt out of it, but if they don't opt out, like $1 goes to the SBA and then $1 goes to us as a triple C. So some schools for some reason don't really know how to access it or didn't know they have it or something like that. And in that case, you can, if you find out that that's the case, you can redirect them to SS Triple C, and we can help them grow their budget just by helping them access the money that they should have been accessing. But otherwise, yeah, we can't really tell people what to do.
Yeah, I love that idea about reminding SBAs that they can use SRF fees to attend our conferences, because our conferences are advocacy, and that's what the SRF fee is for. So thank you for that. With that, since we don't have any more questions, thank you all for attending. Thank you to the interns who participated and actually led the presentation. Appreciate your time and your effort you put into this. And for all the treasurers, appreciate your time and for attending this. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email. If I can get, shoot us an email and we'll answer your questions. And then you can always reach out to VPF or watch for that email. VPF will be sending you one-on-one. You can ask for questions as she sat in the seat before. And look forward to working with you all this year as you do your job. And we're here, your student intern is here. I'm here. If you ever have any questions about your job, or you want to ensure that you're doing what you need to be doing and you need resources, feel free to reach out. Thank you everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
And Dr. Adams, if you could stop the recording.